When one thinks of Tinder and online dating, thoughts often drift to romantic success stories or awkward encounters. Rarely does one consider the unthinkable or the gravest of dangers: murder. This brings us to the story of Grace Millane and her fateful encounter. So take a moment, grab a coffee, and settle in as we delve into this case. Our narrative unfolds in Wickford, a quaint town in Essex, England, where Grace Millane was born on December 2, 1996, to her devoted parents David and Gillian. Growing up alongside her two brothers, Michael and Declan, Grace experienced a joyful childhood. Her father ran a thriving construction business, ensuring a prosperous life for the family. Grace's educational journey led her to St. Thomas More High School, followed by university studies. In September 2018, she celebrated a significant milestone, graduating from the University of Lincoln with a bachelor's degree in marketing and advertising. During her university years, Grace worked part-time, saving money for a dream, a year-long travel adventure post-graduation. Described by her family as a vibrant, free-spirited individual, Grace was both academically inclined and artistically talented, often painting in her leisure time. Her home was a testament to her creative pursuits. With the support of her loving family, a solid educational foundation, and an adventurous year ahead, Grace's future was full of promise. She aspired to forge unforgettable experiences and later pursue a career in marketing. Demonstrating her compassionate nature, Grace cut her long hair before her travels, donating it to a charity that made wigs for children with cancer. With heartfelt farewells and packed bags, she embarked on her journey, starting with a flight to Peru. Grace spent 6 weeks traversing South America, where she relished the landscapes and forged new friendships. Yet, to truly circle the globe, one must keep moving. Thus, on November 20th, Grace set off for New Zealand, beginning her adventure in the northern part of the North Island. She spent 10 days there before heading to Auckland on November 30th. In Auckland, Grace immersed herself in the urban landscape, though she had no specific plans. With her next flight only 5 days away, she lived in the moment. However, December 1st marked a change. It was the weekend, and her birthday was just around the corner. As a solo traveler, Grace sought companionship and turned to Tinder to meet new people. It was here she connected with Jesse Kempson, a local from Auckland. Jesse reached out to Grace on Tinder, inviting her for drinks. Initially, Grace's responses were somewhat reserved, but Jesse's persistence eventually led her to agree to meet. They rendezvoused at Sky City, a bustling entertainment hub in Auckland, where their meeting began with a friendly hug and then moved to Andy's Burger Bar for cocktails. Their initial conversation was tentative, but as the evening progressed, they found their rhythm. Following the first round of drinks, they ventured to a Mexican cafe, indulging in margaritas and sangria, all courtesy of Jesse. The evening's next destination was the Bluestone Room. By this point, Grace and Jesse were genuinely enjoying each other's company, engaging in lively conversation and laughter, culminating in a shared kiss. During a brief moment when Jesse stepped away, Grace texted a friend back in England, mentioning that Jesse, who she believed was an oil company executive planning to move to London, might be a prospect for a lasting friendship. The evening was unfolding positively: drinks, newfound companionship, and the anticipation of her birthday. The night's mood led them to a more private setting, Jesse's apartment. CCTV footage captured Grace and Jesse heading to his apartment in the City Life complex, with Jesse's arm around Grace as they entered the building and took the elevator to his floor. This marked a pivotal moment in what had started as a casual evening out. The final sighting of Grace Millane on CCTV, along with the last text message she sent to a friend, marked the end of any communication from her. The next day, which was Grace's birthday, saw her phone inundated with messages and tweets from England, but there were no responses. Her phone was off. This unusual silence raised alarm among her family and friends, and soon the media began to take notice. Grace was known for her regular communication with loved ones, so her sudden disappearance was deeply concerning. The key to understanding what happened to her seemed to lie in the last CCTV footage of her with Jesse Kempson and the elevator they were seen entering together. Jesse Kempson, born in 1992, had a troubled upbringing in Wellington, New Zealand. His childhood was marked by his parents' divorce when he was 9, followed by his mother moving abroad. The subsequent years of his life were unremarkable until 2013, when he left his family home amidst accusations of theft and habitual lying. Jesse then relocated to Australia to work as a laborer, but this too didn't pan out, leading him to return to Auckland in 2018. At this point, Jesse's life was unstable. He moved into a small motel studio apartment in central Auckland after a falling out with former housemates who were increasingly concerned about his erratic behavior, womanizing, and threatening tendencies. Jesse was a chronic liar and a compulsive fantasist, often fabricating stories about himself. He falsely claimed to be an All Blacks rugby player, a playboy, an oil executive, and a gang member. He even lied about having cancer, the death of his parents, holding a law degree, and plans to purchase a waterfront restaurant. Despite these grandiose fabrications, Jesse's reality was far from glamorous. As 2018 came to a close, his life was a series of failed jobs and evictions, having been dismissed from roles as a barman, a sales assistant, and most recently, a telephone salesman, the job he lost on the very day he met Grace. Jesse was losing control, and tragically, Grace Millane, with all her aspirations, strengths, and dreams, fell victim to his dangerous spiral. On the night of December 1st, the eve of Grace's birthday, Jesse murdered her in his Sky City motel room. The following morning, around 8 a.m., CCTV captured Jesse leaving his apartment. Shortly after, at 8:07 a.m., he was seen entering a supply store, the warehouse on Elliott Street, where he purchased a large suitcase and then wheeled it back to his apartment. At 8:32 a.m., Jesse was spotted again, this time leaving his hotel to visit a supermarket where he bought bleach, rubber gloves, and cleaning supplies. At 10:33 a.m., Jesse exited his apartment once more, visibly distressed, and took a taxi to a car rental agency. There, he picked up a red Toyota Corolla and drove it back to his residence. With a suitcase, cleaning supplies, and a rental car in his possession, one might assume his next step would be to dispose of the body. However, Jesse's actions were far from logical. He went on another Tinder date. Jesse's location in the heart of a bustling city center meant his actions were extensively recorded by surveillance cameras. These cameras documented his activities over the next few days, including parking the rental car at 7:30 p.m., bringing a rented carpet cleaner into his apartment at 8:28 p.m., and returning it about 30 minutes later. Finally, at 9:30 p.m. that same day, cameras captured Jesse wheeling 2 suitcases out of his apartment, both appearing to be fully packed. Jesse moved Grace's body to the car and drove to Kumu, Auckland. The next morning, he visited Western ITM, a building supply store where he purchased a shovel. After disposing of the body, Jesse returned to his routine. He visited a dry cleaner, cleaned the rental car, returned it to the rental agency, and on December 5th, disposed of Grace's remaining belongings in a bin at a local park. 4 days had passed since Grace's disappearance, and the Auckland police were intensively searching for her. On December 6th, they narrowed down their search to the Star City Hotel, seeking Jesse Kempson for questioning. Coincidentally, Jesse was returning from a shopping trip just as the police were in the hotel lobby. Surprised by their presence, he tried to leave unnoticed, but was quickly pursued and apprehended by the officers. Jesse was taken in for questioning, and his residence was now a key piece of evidence in the investigation. The police used luminol, a chemical that detects blood traces, and discovered stains of Grace's blood in the carpet of Jesse's apartment. During his initial interrogation, Jesse struggled under questioning. He lied to the police about his activities on the night of Grace's disappearance. During a subsequent interrogation 2 days later, Jesse revised his story, offering a version that contradicted the investigators' findings. Jesse Kempson was arrested after surveillance footage, Local tips and his mobile data led investigators to Grace's body, found in a shallow grave near a rural road in Waitakere Ranges Regional Park, roughly 21 miles from Auckland. The discovery shocked New Zealand, with thousands attending vigils and even the Prime Minister paying respects. While in custody, it was revealed that Jesse had previously sexually assaulted another British tourist, a crime similar to what he later did to Grace. This earlier victim, who met Jesse on Tinder, shared her traumatic experience in court. Jesse also had convictions for offenses against a former partner. In his defense, Jesse claimed Grace's death was accidental, resulting from rough sexual activity. However, evidence, including phone data showing disturbing searches related to body disposal, contradicted his story. On November 22, 2019, Jesse Kempson was found guilty of murdering Grace Millane. The verdict brought tears to Grace's parents, while Jesse showed no emotion. He was also convicted on 9 other charges, including rape, sexual violation, and assault. Jesse didn't take too kindly to that. Jesse Kempson is now facing a life sentence in prison, with a minimum term of 17 years before he is eligible for parole. This brings us to the end of Grace Millane's story. It's important to focus on Grace, not Jesse, to honor the memory of a young, vibrant woman just embarking on adulthood, poised for what should have been some of her happiest years. Her life was tragically cut short in a senseless act by a man who should have remained a stranger. Imagining the fear she experienced in her final moments, so far from her loved ones, is heart-wrenching. An eerie aspect of this story is Grace's last Instagram post, a watercolor of a skull with the caption, "Two can keep a secret if one of them is dead." While not a premonition, it stands as a chilling coincidence. Grace's father expressed a poignant message, hoping that Grace's tragic end doesn't discourage others from pursuing their dreams and exploring the world. He's right. We shouldn't let rare, tragic events limit our lives, but that doesn't lessen the pain her family endures. Jesse Kempson's actions are inexcusable, and many hope he remains behind bars for life. Thank you for engaging with this video. If you found this case insightful, please consider liking and subscribing for more weekly content. What are your thoughts on the Grace Millane case? Was Jesse's punishment sufficient? Do apps like Tinder provide adequate safety? Share your views in the comments. I look forward to your thoughts and we'll see you in the next video.